Hi everybody, I am back today with Stefan Benz from Midland Appliance. Get that out there. It's Alison from Alison Kent Home Kitchen, and we're just going to invite him in. There he is. And I'm in the showroom today, which is really looking good. There we go. Festive balloons and everything today. We had so many questions and feedback, so much feedback from our last video. Hi, Stefan.
Hi, Alison.
That
How
we
are you?
thought that we would introduce something new coming up because we just had a lot of comments and questions and people wanting to know how they can dig a bit deeper into their appliances. So that's what we're chatting about today here in your store.
Wonderful. And you see the sales balloons behind you. So our sale is on. Big spring clearance event.
Nice. And it's a nice, bright, sunny day. It's beautiful in the studio here in the showroom. So we were getting a lot of questions about different appliances and how to dig a little bit deeper with appliances versus just maybe French door versus column. There's actually 300 questions you could probably ask about, for example, a refrigerator.
Yeah.
But if people don't know what questions to ask, they don't know how to ask them, right? They don't know how to dig a bit deeper and make sure that they get the absolute best appliance for them that they can. So that's why we come to Stefan. He knows everything.
Well, I think you need an appliance professional by your side to decipher the lingo and the online information and eventual brochures if they are still hanging around, or what you heard from neighbors. Every kitchen, every client is different. The desires for what they want, what they need, what makes sense for them, all of that is different. So you don't arrive at a generic solution by just listening to your mom or your dad. You arrive at it by really digging deep into design, function, performance. Your budget obviously comes into the question, and a good appliance company will decipher all of that with you.
Because for something like a dishwasher, knowing what to look for in the interior of the dishwasher versus what you should avoid versus what the big bonus of that is, and then every cook or every home cook or family will have different requirements for their appliances as well, right?
Yeah, like in dishwashing nowadays, a lot of people ask for quiet, but that is possibly the feature that is the most dominant with all dishwashers. You can buy a $700 dishwasher and most people over 40 can't hear it anymore, right? So yes, we're losing our hearing over the years, and the difference between 3 or 4 decibels is barely audible to most people. What is more important is that the industry and appliances have changed over the years, and appliances are being made in a lot of ways for the testers. So basically for the people that give you an energy rating, that give you the amount of kilowatts that you're using per year if you use your generic 211 dishwasher cycles a year. The issue is that most of the dishwashers are made to consume very little, so their regular normal program, the temperature has been turned down to 120 Fahrenheit, and nothing really dries in 120 Fahrenheit. And people don't know that, right? If you're just merely shopping for energy efficiency, you might end up with a dishwasher that washes for 3 hours and doesn't dry. And hence, people are going with prepackaged tap detergent, which for the most part is overdosage in the lower mainland as we deal with very, very soft water. So you need somebody to decipher that for you. Otherwise, you end up with just the same thing that your neighbor has, and they're unhappy. They just didn't want to tell you.
Well, you're right. There's a lot more questions to ask because it's not just how it's made, how it's put together, whether or not it's plastic or stainless steel inside, but what kind of detergent is it going to need? If it, you said, is it suddenly have a 3-hour washing cycle? Well, that's kind of insane if you finish a dinner party and you have pre-COVID in our house. My husband spent 3 days doing dishes at that rate, so
Yeah. Well, now you have a dishwasher, which is good, right? We sold you a nice
Yes,
dishwasher.
you did.
And that
But
did,
you sold it to me because we asked all these questions, right? And you
yeah,
were really good at giving all this feedback. And when I came in, I kind of had an idea of what I wanted and what brands I was going to look at. And every single thing I was thinking of got turned upside down because I was more equipped to make different decisions after we had talked. And so
yeah,
once we started having conversations about each appliance and me saying what I really needed out of it and you saying, well, did you consider this, 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 and this? And I'd be like, wow, didn't know those things about that appliance, and it helped me make a much different and I think a much better decision.
yeah. And that's
I hope it's
important,
not all
right? We,
brilliant, but I hope it was.
as any business that is operating and is relying on word of mouth and relying on good reviews, we're priding ourselves of really taking all the questions to the customer that need to be asked. How often do you go shopping? How much fresh food do you need? Do you need that big of a freezer? Can we go with an all fridge? If for every category in the appliance industry, and there's the five big ones that are refrigeration, dishwashing, laundry, cooking. We want to decipher all of them in the series that we are proposing here because it just makes sense. From our last conversation we had, you had all of that feedback from people, and people have questions. All of a sudden now it's important to get it all deciphered because, quite frankly, you can drop onto a sales associate that doesn't even do his own laundry, but he's giving you laundry advice. What is the use of that?
Well, and I think so to introduce it, we're here today to kind of introduce the video series that we're going to be starting. And I think there's 8 different appliance categories that we're going to be doing super informative video sessions on. And it's going to be, I hope, at least from my end, from my clients, from my customers, that as I'm designing kitchens, that it's a really good starting point for people, that once they watch that video on your everything you should know about ranges and cooktops or refrigeration or dishwashing or ventilation, outdoor appliances, you name it, then they're ready to start having the next level of conversation and start making some decisions and narrowing down a few things because now they're equipped with like the first bit of information that they need. So I'm
Yeah.
really excited to start this video series with you. There's been a lot of feedback already, and I think it's something people really need to know to make better decisions for their homes.
Yeah, and in the end, it costs you the same money to get good advice, right? I mean, everybody in the industry is competitive price-wise, but I think people should select more from where they feel comfortable making that buying decision and who is helping the most to come up with that proper budget or matching the appliance performance to their budget. And if you're coming in with a designer like yourself, you have the industry background, you have a very good eye for details, and yet there's always new things to add on to. There is hinge situations where, we have seen people put a fridge beside an oven and they cannot open both together because nobody considered the hinge open so far to the side. So we're trained in this, and I think that the big part for us is that we are really, really proud of our product knowledge and our industry knowledge. When it comes to the budget, there's things to consider like, yeah, you would like to have brand so-and-so hood fan, but it is possibly not even made by that particular brand that puts their logo on it. So when you then go into the root, and we are a very unique retailer that way. We are visiting factories. We are speaking to manufacturers. We have an influence on how the product looks eventually in North America because we have all of that background and we are being asked for our expertise. With that in mind, you can come back from Italy finding a phenomenal hood fan, finding out they're making the hood fan for 14 other manufacturers, and it happens to be 30% less expensive than the one with the brand name on it.
I was
So
quite surprised. We went through here a few times, and you're like, "Well, it's made at the same factory, just so you know." And I was like, "What?" And
Yeah.
that's actually quite common. There'll be a couple factories that just make all of the, you know, hood fans, or all of the, we were looking at the cappuccino machines, I think, when we were having that conversation, and
Yeah,
realizing that
coffee.
really there's two people that make them. They're just sticking, everybody has a different kind of twist on it, but ultimately the parts that matter, the parts that you don't want to break down, you know, you don't want to lose your warranty on and stuff like that, are all the same on the inside. And then
Yeah.
knowing what to look for, like even just simple things in the cappuccino machine, looking for the way it's loaded, that it's not going to cause, you can clean it easily, that it's not going to cause a lot of damage to the back of your cabinet, all that kind of stuff. It's, your knowledge
Yeah,
is just pretty
coffee.
vast. We went through a
Coffee
lot of
is
your
in.
knowledge base in the first video. It was quite extensive.
Yeah, coffee in particular is a matter where coffee leaves a lot of residue and is oily. And if you don't maintain the machine, as nice as it is, and you paid whatever $3,000 to $6,000 for a built-in coffee maker, it still needs to have some maintenance done. And some machines are easier to maintain than others. So this needs to be pointed out. I mean, I myself, I have a built-in coffee maker for over 25 years, and so by now I have understood what I can do and cannot do, or what I can expect or not expect. And people love their coffee hot, so temperature settings are important. And all of these things are visible in our designer showrooms, in our contractor showroom, and we are, I think, a force when it comes to the knowledge that we can impart on the client, and then the client can make their decision based on what they have learned here without being pushed in brand A or brand B.
Somebody's commenting that they got their vent hood here just based on all of your team's great expertise and advice and everything. They're very happy with it, it sounds like.
Oh, good, good.
So the showroom's looking amazing, and apparently you have a sale happening.
Yeah, we
What's
have
happening
our
with the sale?
spring clearance event. It goes until this coming Saturday. And we have hundreds of appliances on sale that we're either on the showroom floor, we have some clearance items, and then we have overstock items. So we're very, very proudly having a skookum sale, if I may use that word. I just heard that this week again. I saw that skookum is the word to call this sale. Phenomenal pricing, great selection, and yeah, we would love to invite your viewership and our viewership to come in and partake in this.
And how many
Because we're
locations? How many locations is Midland now?
currently two. We have one on Columbia Street downtown by the Olympic Village, and then on Bridgeport Road, just east of the Knight Street Bridge in Richmond. And very soon to come, Langley. So that is the next step in our evolution. There's a brand new location coming in the valley, and that is, we have so many clients from that area that will
The
be
valley is
very,
where
very
it's at.
happy.
It's
Yeah.
where it's at these days. So we're excited to keep answering people's questions and leave lots of comments in our little comment bars in the videos, in the Instagram stories, everywhere. Keep asking your clients questions, because we are going to start these whole video series answering all those questions starting very soon.
Yeah, we're quite excited to partake in that with you, Alison. I think it's a fantastic idea to bring things to light that people always wanted to ask but never dared to come forward with.
Well, like you mentioned, it's that combination of design and function, and it all has to kind of meld together to give people the best kitchen experience at home that they can possibly have. So I'm happy to work with you guys on this project. I love it.
Well, I'm looking forward to start it up.
Okay, thanks for letting
Okay.
me in your space today. It's looking great.
Oh, thank you so much.
Thank you. We'll catch up soon.
Okay, bye, Alison.